Hello, hello, hello. For those of you who can see me, hi. For those of you who can only hear me, hello. I'm going to probably, depending on how well this goes, put this on the podcast as well as YouTube. So, welcome. My name is Amber, and if you're listening to the podcast, welcome to Find You Fall in Love. If you are not listening to the podcast, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I really want to talk about disappointment in your life and your business, and I kind of want to go through some ways to kind of combat that. I'm going to apologize if you can see me. I am exhausted and I did not sleep well last night. And I have not slept well for a week. I have gone to bed and then had such chaotic and intense dreams that I wake up feeling as though I have not slept. And I am more tired when I wake up than when I went to bed in the first place. So much so that last night I had pretty intense anxiety about sleeping. So, anyway, that's my life right now. Let's talk disappointment. So, this week for most people was a huge week, especially if you're an entrepreneur. There's a lot of pressure to have Black Friday deals. There's a lot of pressure to put something out there, an offer of some kind. And I had all of these plans, Y'all, I have worked tirelessly on this book. It is done. P.S. So if you are looking for a book that will help you streamline your processes and streamline your tools in your business, and also really help you figure out how to get your money under control and prioritize your funds, guess what? You need this book. And it's good, and I'm really proud of it. But I didn't put out an offer for it. Not only that, I had this huge package, a premium package that I was planning on launching on Black Friday, and I was so not well. And, I was like, I really should do this in advance because you never know how I'm going to feel. But I had felt great the week before. Great. Like, I was on fire. I was getting all kinds of things done. I had finished the book that week. And, I was done. It was great. And I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. It's no big deal. I'll be fine. Yeah, that's not how that went. I have extremely bad periods. To give you more information than you want to know. But this particular period was one of the worst I have experienced in a really long time. I felt like I was pregnant. I was sick, physically sick, and so nauseous. If you've had a child, it was like first trimester sickness, to the point that it was down to 20 minutes before we were supposed to leave to go to my in-laws for Thanksgiving, and I still wasn't sure if I was going. That's how sick I was. And thankfully, it all kind of subsided, and I managed to get to dinner and make it through the evening before I was like, okay, we have to go home. And we came home and went straight to bed, kind of thing. And then Friday, I literally just rested because I was so exhausted. And I am still so exhausted from the week. But what came after that was not only this exhaustion that I was already feeling, but then add disappointment to it. I was so disappointed in myself that I couldn't push through it. I was so disappointed in myself for not having realized that this was a possibility. Knowing my body the way that I do and knowing myself the way that I do, I really should have planned this in advance. And I should have done better. And next year, I will start planning for Black Friday at the beginning of that quarter. So October 1st, or before then, really, because I'm starting to plan differently for next year. I'm going to have an overarching goal for the year, because here's what I've been doing. I've been planning in 90-day stretches, and there is a certain madness and a method to that works. But I feel like if you don't have like a big overarching goal that you're trying to achieve, like now it's this, if you don't have that big overarching goal that you're trying to achieve, you're just kind of doing things in a disjointed kind of manner, and it it tends to not lend itself to being all over the place. And so if you find that you are planning for short periods of time, and what happens is if you don't make those goals in that short period of time, you're just moving on to something entirely different, because that's me. I'm multi-passionate. So I try something for a little while and it feels like I'm just throwing stuff up against the wall and seeing what sticks. But I'm not really sticking with anything long enough for it to stick. Does that make sense? It's almost like trying to cook the pasta and you're throwing it up against the wall to see if it sticks. But then you keep taking it off the heat. And that's not going to get you anywhere, quite frankly. It's just not going to get you to a place you want to go. And so, and I also realized this week that my body requires certain foods in order to really function well. And what tends to happen for me is I don't have things prepped. And on the days that I feel really good, I just really want to enjoy feeling good, and I don't really take advantage of those good days and do a lot of meal prepping or anything like that, or I cook for that day and it's great and I feel wonderful, right? But if I don't have those meals prepped for the days that I do feel like crap, and for those of you who don't know, I have fibromyalgia. I'm in the process of getting a fibromyalgia diagnosis. That's what they think I have at this point. So on the days that are bad, they're really, really bad. And if I don't have that food prepped, I don't have that food ready to go, I'm not going to eat well. And not eating well is only going to lead to more bad days. You know what I mean? So I'm finding that my life really needs to be a lot more structured. It needs to be a lot more planned out. I need to take advantage and do things and be really, really productive on the good days, so that I leave myself the space to have bad days, right? I leave myself the room to have bad days and have a contingency plan. So I would ask you, do you have a contingency plan for when things don't go right, or when your body's not cooperating, or when you're sick? If you're fairly normal, you don't have these things quite as often as I do, but you're still going to get sick. Your kids are going to get sick. Your car's going to break down or whatever, and what have you. Do you have these contingency plans thought up, written out, and really nailed down? These systems and these tools to get you where you want to go, do you have them locked in? Do you have them written down somewhere? And if you do, fantastic, great. you're going to still want to go back through those about once a month or once every couple of months and really make sure that they are still in alignment with where you want to be and where you're going. Because if I made a contingency plan 3 years ago, yeah, about whatever and what have you, right? Pick something. If I made a contingency plan for what was going to happen on days when I can't write or I don't have the headspace for it, and let's say the idea is reblogging content, right? Repurposing old content. Okay, well, that's great. But do I know where that content is? Is it easily accessible? If you are able to batch content, which I'm really like a huge fan of, because I find that that is the only way for me to really I do things in clusters and I do them to the extreme when I have the energy, and then I forget to put all that stuff out. So I have an asinine amount of content. I had 8 videos sitting here from the week before last that I still haven't put out. But I also don't have a good plan. Like, these are things that I help other people with and I really struggle with for myself. So that's what I'm saying to you, and really to myself as well, is you've got to have a contingency plan, and you've got to have something in place that says, I'm going to go and do this right now. I'm going to ensure that I have at least 1 week's worth of content put out, or 1 week's worth of content ahead, not this week, but this week and next week, really, if you don't already have this week, scheduled out, so that if something happens in the next couple of days, or I just don't have any motivation or any inspiration within my head, something is still going out to my audience. Something is still getting put out into the universe. And when it doesn't happen, I think we all have to just give ourselves some grace. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay. But really, the question then becomes, what are you going to do about it? Because I've been sitting here over the last couple of days having this thought process and the sadness and whatever, and I put something out on Saturday for Posh, but I didn't put anything out for my own business, and maybe that was in and of itself a problem. I could have just gotten on Friday and done like an impromptu little, a thing, and maybe it would have gotten somewhere, maybe it wouldn't have, but at least I would have tried, right? And so I think that we put a ton of pressure on ourselves to have this grandiose thing. And sometimes it's not even that you need a grandiose thing. Sometimes you just need to ask. And sometimes you just need to lay it all out there, like, here's what I've got. Do you want it or don't you? And if you haven't done the legwork and you haven't done the prep work ahead of time, that can really show. But if you do nothing, then all you're left with is to wonder, well, what if I had done something, even small? What if I had done something? So there's a lot to contend with. So you've got to ask yourself, what are you going to do next time? Like, today's Cyber Monday. So I plan on emailing my audience. I'm going to email my people. I'm going to put something on social media, and I'm going to record a little thing on Instagram. And it's going to be the only thing I really got done for all this. And that's okay. Really, it's okay. And maybe I launch my signature program now. Maybe I do a hard push between now and the end of the year so that people are ready for the new year. Speaking of which, my signature program is launching. It's supposed to launch Friday. But here's what it is. You need somebody, really, your processes, you live and die by them. You live and die by your systems, right? Like we've just been talking about. And oftentimes having someone else outside of your business come in and say, you could be doing this so much easier, you could be doing this so much better, and here are programs that can help you do this better, and let's automate as much of this as possible. Because I know from my experience and having done this for 7 years, that, or almost 8 years now, that you've gotta have these systems and tools in place. And if you can automate these workflows for yourself, one, nail down your workflows, streamline those workflows, and make those processes so much faster and so much more efficient. If you can do that, it will save you an enormous amount of time, which allows you to have more headspace for content creation. It's going to allow you to be more creative and get your offers in front of more people. Okay, so because your administrative stuff is taking so much of your time, I know that. And if you have people, if you feel like things are getting dropped and missed, I can tell you right now from experience, not only are they getting missed, but things you don't even realize you're missing. So the program covers there's a big program that covers not only a sales funnel, but also your workflow. So getting those people from lead, basically your funnel. When people come in and they're actually inquiring about your service, until the end of it, when you are offboarding these people, you have finished with the project, you have helped them as much as you're going to help them. What does that process look like? And what is the experience that you want your clients to walk away with? Okay. So we're going to nail that down. We're going to figure that out, and I'm going to help you through that process. So the big signature program covers both the funnel and, so your marketing funnel and your systems and processes and tools. And the workflows. So we're going to figure both of those out. We're going to lay them all out, and then you are going to have 4 to 8 weeks, depending on what you choose, 4 to 8 weeks of support while you're building these systems, while you're building these tools, and while you're getting these workflows in place. You're going to have my full support and be able to reach out to me Monday through Friday. And get in touch with me, either by Voxer, by email, or by Slack. All three of those channels. Now, quite frankly, I would rather you pick one of those 3 channels, and that's how we communicate. Just because it's easier, and then I'm not having to keep track of 3 different systems. If I know that you're going to be messaging me on Slack, I will have Slack open. If I know that you're going to be on Voxer, I will make sure that my notifications are turned on for Voxer, that sort of thing. And then if you have one of those in place and you just need to work on your funnel, or you just need to work on your workflow, I have a lesser package that allows you to pick one of those 2 things and work exclusively on that one thing and really nail that one thing down. So if that's something that you are interested in, and then there are retainer packages as well that we can cover later, but those 2 programs are the big things that I'm launching, and I'm currently taking clients for December and into January. So if those 2 months are good for you, or even if you want to buy now at the price it is right now, because PS, my prices are going up in January. So on January 1st, the prices go up. But if you want to buy it now or put a deposit down now, but you're not ready to work until, let's say, March, we can do that too. Okay, so really December, January, and then if you want to book ahead and make sure that you're locked in at the price that I am offering now, we can totally do that. P.S. If you put down a deposit, they're non-refundable. So if something occurs and you are buying now to start in March, and something happens between now and March and you're not able to fulfill the full thing, I'm not doing refunds. Those deposits are non-refundable. So just bear that in mind. Okay. All right. So I think that disappointment is going to happen. And I think the best thing that you can do is create a plan for, one, give yourself some grace and forgive yourself for whatever it is you've done wrong. These are your action steps. Give yourself some grace, forgive yourself for whatever you've done, and then make a plan so that the next time this comes up or the next time this holiday rolls around, you have already planned in advance what you're going to do. So 90-day planning works in short spurts, but I think that you still need to understand what the goal is for the year. So if you want to sell 20 of, let's say it's my signature program. Next year, I want to sell 20 of those. How many of those do I need per month? And what is that, or how many do I need per quarter? And then what do I need to do to make that happen? I have a book now, so what do I need to do to get that into as many hands as humanly possible? And how do I go about doing that? And if you can plan out these launches and plan out what you need to do for those launches, what the funnels look like for these launches. And again, this comes back to what I'm offering. Is that something that you need to work through? Are you planning a big signature program, and do you have the funnel prepped and ready to go for that launch? Okay. All right, guys. Prices for that signature program will be on my website today. Yes, today. So go there and check that out. If you are needing retainer work, those prices and what I offer are also on my website. So offering strategy, social media planning and strategy. Those two are big, especially going into the new year. Do you have next year planned and prepped? Do you have the quarter? Do you have an overarching theme for the quarter? That sort of thing. Those are the things that I help people with. So if you are interested in that, holler at me and we will get started. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you all later. Have a good one. See ya.